Hello, everybody, and welcome to our LinkedIn Live. This is especially exciting. We have two incredible ladies with us. So, welcome our guest, Diane Levitch, and our very own Monica has joined us. I'm really excited for this. So, Monica, let's first say hi to you. I think that your microphone is maybe a little bit,
Yeah, I know. I'm having some difficulties today. Can you guys
maybe
hear me?
yeah, maybe we should mute it while you're not talking because it's creating a lot of noise. Diane, welcome so much to our live. Diane, you're an incredible lady. You and I met in a speaking engagement where you really impressed me. You're the director of marketing and communication at Axoni, and you're a very interesting leader in our field. So, Diane, do you mind sharing a little bit about yourself and about what you do now? And then, Monica, I would love to hear from you a little bit as well, right after Diane.
Well, thank you, Zev, and that's quite an introduction. So hopefully I live up to it. So I began my career in investor relations. I actually graduated from BU, if anyone on the line is from there. So shout out. But that's where I fell in love with fintech and kind of continued my journey focusing on it in various different ways. After investor relations, I worked at a few different PR firms specializing in FinServe and fintech. And given my love for transformative technologies, decided to turn my attention to blockchain in 2018 when I joined an ICO company, and I made it my mission to learn everything and anything about it, how it works, who the major players were, etc. So I was at my share of consensus conferences. But yeah, at this point, I was sort of already wearing a ton of hats on and working on content, PR, events, sales, business development, you name it, and just felt that my natural next path would be to work in marketing as it sort of encompasses all of my skills in a pretty cohesive way. So I launched the marketing function at Eventus, which is a very well-known trade surveillance solution for both TradFi and crypto firms, and kind of never looked back since. And it's interesting because my career came full circle when I came to Axoni, since we are a real-time data replication company focused in capital markets. And funny enough, my very first client in IR was a company called Attunity, which is a leading provider of data integration software, and it was acquired by Click in 2019. So suffice it to say, I know the space quite well.
That is awesome. So the reason that I asked Monica to join us, and this is actually Monica's first live, we're kind of getting her out here, is because I really thought Monica could help us in this discussion and with sharing. Diane, you impressed me. I am a very judgmental speaker. I do a lot of speaking, and when I see others speak, I'm very critical of them. What I loved about you is you're genuine, and you know what you know, you're willing to learn what you're not, and you're all about moving things forward. And Monica, you're exactly the same way. So can you share a little bit, Monica, about you, what you do for our company, and maybe even for Quantum Leap AI as well? And then we'll get back to Diane to hear a little bit about Axoni and what she does in her role.
Absolutely. So first of all, I'm very excited. This is my first live after seeing you going live for so many years. I finally made the leap. Second, Diane, I am as impressed as Zeph is. I didn't see you speaking, but I have been in meetings with you. I love the way that you are passionate about your work. I love the way that, we have been in meetings where we have been discussing a lot of different strategies, and your questions made me realize a lot of things on our products and a lot of things on our services. And I was like, oh, I love this. I love to get that feedback from you. So I'm very excited about this live on that. What do I do for the company? Well, I'm kind of like the one that makes things happen. Like I always say, like Zeph is the visionary. Zeph brings the passion, the sales, the spokesperson. But you need to have someone in the ground working with the team to make things happen, and that's where I come in. So I
You're a
always
doer.
yeah, I'm the doer. I'm the one that, let's take this vision and let's see where we can take it together. So I work with the team, and that's why so excited. And you asked me to talk a little bit about Quantum Leap. So Quantum Leap is, I created this company because of the need of, um, I see it on myself and I see it on my clients. AI is transforming the business, but AI is very new for everyone. So getting it to teams and like learning about it, it's just a challenge. So a Quantum League is there to fix a challenge. We are meant to help executives to understand AI and to actually just practically integrate it on their operations and their systems. I said, for years we tried to implement AI, and my team was like really pushing out, like, oh, this is so new. This is gonna replace us. This is not something we
Yeah.
want to do. And I wanted to show them that no, it's not gonna replace you. It's just gonna enhance you. So what can we do about it? And that's why we created Quantum Leap, is because it's like, use AI, implement it on your business and operations, and then like it's 10 times you.
Awesome. So, Monica, thank you, and we will hear a lot more about what you do with Quantum Leap because it's really really interesting. Diane, I'll I want to hear from you a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit? You told us a little bit about your professional journey and how you got to Axoni, but can you tell us a little bit about your daily routine? What do you do?
Yeah.
Axoni is such a cool company, cool brand. You guys really deal with um, the edge of fintech, or at least what a lot of trade fi companies look at that. Can you tell us what you do on a day-to-day basis and how you help move this industry forward?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to bore anybody, so try to stay with me. But it probably sounds quite cliche, but really no day is like the other. So kind of to kick off my day, I typically read all the most important newsletters since it comes to my inbox first thing in the morning. These are including, but not limited to, the John Lothian newsletter, Curation, and Tab Forum, which is really great for market structure news and just all that's going on in capital markets and derivatives and whatnot. I also read the latest from Waters Technology. I think they're masterful in the way they deliver fintech news. The Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg, to kind of give like a wide array of what's been going on. And this just helps me start the day and really take advantage of breaking news items that are relevant to Axoni, and just otherwise, right? To see, what's displacing something else, what critical things are happening. Cyber breaches obviously were top of the news stories as of late. So things of that nature. And I think in addition to the ongoing media relations and social media that I work on, content, event planning, lead generation tools, and that takes in a lot of different formats. Working on surveys, working on long form content, kind of talking to the executives to see what they want to be focusing on. I'm also leaving, this is really important, like one day a week for strategic planning. And this can be either for the remainder of the year, for the week, for maybe next year, and really identifying ways to distribute my budget adequately based on any new developments, whether it's internally, if we need to pivot, or anything external as well.
So this is really difficult. I know that we pivot like literally twice a week. Stuff happens so fast.
Yeah,
Okay, things
yeah,
move. I know my team is almost already used to me that whatever is really planned, something is gonna be changed because
yeah.
we pivot so quickly. How do you get your team to work with the trends, with the pivots? What do you see coming up in fintech that what makes you think about what do I need to train my team? How do I need to give them the information for them to be able to, zig and zag and move with the punches?
So I think it's a difficult task. So I'm not going to tell you like a straightforward answer to this, but I think a lot of it is constantly speaking to them on a weekly basis just to see what their stressors are, and really like get feedback from them on like what clients are looking for, and really understand the pain points, because I think the reasoning always comes from what clients need at any given moment. So that could be the source of the pivots, right? Like just to be interested and dealing with multiple different departments on a regular basis, right? Because I think that's my job, to always just kind of stay in touch with those people just to see if I can address those challenges. I also kind of make sure that I send like weekly updates of what's going on in the news, and maybe even updates around clientele to the remainder of the organization, because I need feedback from them to see whether their jobs are being impacted or they're doing anything that needs to happen differently. so that we can help them with the pivot. So I think a lot of that stems from client needs and, is coupled by external forces, right? Whether it's news indicators or something like a market crash, or we've been experiencing some extreme volatility lately, things of that nature. So I think just always being in the know, talking to them frequently. And I don't know. I mean, it really varies from organization to organization. But that's just kind of how I navigate it. So I'm happy to, hear from others that are listening in to hear from them.
Absolutely. But what are your challenges? And everybody, please ask us questions. But Diane, when you do this, what are your major challenges? Monica, I
Yeah.
would love for you to share your challenges afterwards as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the challenges that at least I see is for me, it's like leadership is really stuck in their ways, and a lot of it is habitual. They may just have an idea about like keeping things private or not sharing too much or making sure that things are shared when they need to. So it's just getting them out of those habits to just continue to be open and honest. So I think that's number one, is like a little bit of personality. And the other is just showing, examples of what other companies are doing and how they're being successful. I think I draw a lot of inspiration from, different networking and on online resources. Even like I join a lot of webinars. Tech Target has a lot of them to just show examples of like, what can we be doing differently? How do we position ourselves in a different way to cut through the clutter? Because I think we have information overload in like a digital world. So those challenges need to be addressed, and leadership needs to pay attention to all that's going on in the industry and not kind of have like the laser vision on like whatever they need to be dealing with or whatever problem they have that day. So it's like bringing in external kind of examples and showing them that you have to really be plugged in, or else you're going to be left out.
I love that. So, Diane, Anil here has a question for you. Hello, Diane. What role does collaboration play in developing and marketing new technologies at Axoni? Monica, I would love, after Diane answers, for you to take that for both what you do at Wexler and what you do at your AI training company with Quantum Leap, and answer that as well. So, what role does collaboration play in developing and marketing new technologies at Axoni?
I think it's a lot about like, bringing people together in a room, whiteboarding. I think, like I said, for the most part, the way that we look at our product roadmap is based on what our clients are telling us as far as challenges. I also seek to get external kind of consultants or data to substantiate our moves forward. I think the data management space is constantly changing. So I think as part of our initiatives, we did, hire a consultant to chat with us and just say like, what is the competition doing? How are we going to, separate ourselves? And, where is the data to back that up? And I think bringing that together with various departments, whether it's in a leadership setting or even through one-on-ones, is really crucial, because you can't say no to data. This is what it is, and it's really black and white. So I think collaboration is super important to really contextualize bringing that in, and also thinking about, okay, now that we have this information, how do we make ourselves be more nimble? How do we address these challenges? So I think also just even from an analytics perspective, right? Like for marketing, for example, if you're not using tools like a funnel.io or any kind of like, maybe you're still using Google Analytics, GA4, what have you. If you're not identifying the way that customers are coming to you, and you're not really showing that type of data as well, you're not going to be able to make the case to leadership and collaborate effectively in order to achieve, shared goals, which is obviously getting clients.
So what I'm hearing you say is you need a clear vision throughout everything, from leadership to middle leadership to the people that are already doing what they're doing. Everybody needs clarity. We need to know all the information, where we're going and how we're doing it. I know this is something that I struggle with, because sometimes I work things in silos and I communicate that to that department, this to this, and I need to work on it. Monica, what do you think? And I'll share Anil's question.
No, I completely agree with you, Diane. I think what I heard from you and I really, really resonated with me is how do you encourage your team to actually get the information from the client itself? Because I think that collaboration means everything. Like when you are providing the services, sometimes we feel like, okay, we are in the right. But when you actually take the time to listen what the challenges of your client is, it's going to help you to like pivot. It's going to help you to create a lot more. So I love that what you're saying. But before we go on that, I really would like you to kind of tell the audience about Axoni, about their mission, about what you guys are trying to solve, and how you guys, how you guys support that.
Absolutely. So really our core mission is to offer the easiest possible way to share critical data. And what that means is, many firms, especially in the post-trade space, they deal with a lot of operational overhead and a lot of challenges. I think, for the most part, consumers of data, like let's say banks or asset managers, they deal with end of day reporting. And that batch reporting is really cumbersome because they get it once a day. And it's usually sent using SFTP or CSV files over email. And even APIs are really not doing the job of what they need, because what they're ending up doing is they're spending hours and billions of dollars on reconciliation processes, which can totally be either reduced or avoided entirely. I think 30 to 40% of back office costs are spent on reconciliation processes, which is astounding. I think and what we're able to do is secure real-time replication across institutions in any environment, whether that be on-prem, in the cloud, in a different database, what have you. So, and we're also not sitting in as a third party and do not have access to data. So that makes us, super, desirable for companies that are looking for high security and data privacy, given, like I mentioned earlier, all of the cybersecurity risks that you're seeing. So we're really trying to eliminate those issues and those challenges to make sure that companies are really paying attention to their operational risk and focusing on better business outcomes.
Thank you. So let's go for a couple of questions here. So Hamad, Diane, is asking, how can fintech companies effectively segment their target audience in order to tailor their marketing strategies? So I know this is a very high level question, but can you give a couple of words of wisdom on this?
Absolutely. And this is a great question and something that I think people talk about a lot, and that is ABM. I don't think anybody is surprised to hear that. But I think where people struggle is really identifying those target audiences and where to focus first, right? Because you have to be hyper focused in order to be successful. And it's really identifying your ICP, which is your ideal customer profile, right? Like and honing in on that, starting with your customers, right? What does that look like based on the customers that you have today, right? Who they are, what their titles are, who the decision makers are, and really focusing on core groups one at a time. And then once you have that and can identify that, you can use kind of various tools in order to get in front of them. I think there's a lot of tools that you have to kind of pay for as well. But you can do your own kind of LinkedIn targeting too. They have special tools in order to kind of help with that the sourcing of those companies, and it's relatively cheap, as well as coupling that with HubSpot. If you do use a CRM, I love HubSpot because it marries kind of sales and marketing together. But they have a new product, if you use Marketing Hub, called Target Accounts, to help you identify those specific people that are coming in as your ICPs, whether they're tier 1, tier 2, but really high and specific segmentation to ensure that you're reaching your exact audience and executing against them with actionable content pieces that help address their pain points.
Love that. Let me add something. As a marketing company, don't only look at the decision makers. We always have three different markets. So we want to look at the decision makers, we want to look at the champions, and we want to look at the people who affect the decision makers that usually will need to do the job. So don't only go for the decision maker. Just understand that there's a whole ecosystem coming in. For instance, we have a product. We call it our sales agent. So when we go after certain targets, that sales agent can go over those 3 target markets, give them the message, let's say from me, that's necessary. We also have an AI that actually uses my voice and says, hey Diane, just wanted to leave you a personal voice message, just sent you an email, take a look and call me back. So there are ways to touch and make things kind of go and flow, but always look for more than one decision maker. Always look at all the system, because in the end of the day, let's say I'm the decision maker in my company about which AI products we're going to buy. But let's say if Monica and her team come to me and say, hey, we really want to buy this AI, that's going to skew my decision like 80%, because they're the
Yeah.
ones that are actually going to do the job. So Monica, do you want to interject on that for a little bit?
No, I think that's 100% right. You just gave the example, like you're not gonna make this, you're gonna make the decision, the final decision, but really, who's going to be deciding is the person that is gonna be using it, who is going to be being the champions, like you call them, the one that are gonna come is like, we need this in our company. It's gonna be someone else, and sometimes. I think this is very important on marketing. I do agree we need to be completely focused and we need to understand who our ideal client is so we can target that only, right? Or put our most of our focus in there. But at the same time, there's layers to it. And there is many different ways to do it. Sometimes it's a direct phone call, like we do with the sales accelerator, or sometimes it's just that leadership, right? Or like putting out their value, putting out there your content, putting out there your information, just giving value before you ask for something. That's gonna help a lot more than just trying to just get the call. I think Diane, you understand this very well when you come up with. There is a lot of different tools that can bring you. There's a lot of different touch points that we need to have, and I think again, I'll bring AI because it's just like the elephant in the room. But AI help us to achieve that in a lot more efficient way. And there is so many tools that can help us utilizing AI, and that also connecting it. Everything needs to be connected as well. So don't work on silos. Don't have, like I see in a lot of our clients, like they have all these marketing efforts, but there is one here, one there, and they're not connected. And what you were
Yeah.
saying, like data doesn't lie. Yes, but at the same time, if data is not connected, this data is giving you a piece of information, this one is giving you another one. When you connect everything and when you really understand the whole point, that's when you really can see difference in your marketing.
I
Absolutely
agree. And
agree.
there's upstream marketing and downstream marketing. And I know our audience usually loves like tips that they can use. Guys, you want people to notice them. Okay. So let me give you an example. Diane, let's say that you want a certain company to notice you in Axoni. Okay. First thing I would do is I would look at every decision maker on that company on LinkedIn. Let me tell you a little secret. Almost everybody that uses LinkedIn every day looks at who looks at them. Okay, so now that's the first touch. Now they know something about Diane and Axoni. Okay, then I post a lot on LinkedIn, Diane, and sometimes I even send you like, hey, support my post. If you want people to support your post, support theirs. So go after your target client before you ask them, email them, call them, before any of that, help them. Like,
Yeah.
support their efforts, do something that puts you on their radar as a positive thing. And only after that, start trying to help them with what you can do, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So that's something that worked for me on LinkedIn forever. Okay, you want something, first do it for others before you ask of anything to be done for you. There's a whole bunch of questions, and I think what you're saying is really interesting. So let's share this one. We shared it on the screen. Joshua asked, in the latest digital distributor newsletter, I read something about Fintech's approach on AI and how it's being used for leveraging customers' insights and interaction. How do you plan on using AI in your business to predict long-term? Sorry, I need to go to another place. To predict long-term customer engagement. Great question, Diane. We can take this if you're not fully comfortable, but do you want to say a couple of words to what Joshua had asked?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, any kind of strategy internally is based on data, right? So if you're teaching your AI tool to understand your customer, you're giving them information to help them learn and giving them prompts to help them learn about who your ideal customer is. And that way you can help others kind of piggyback off of that and provide content that would really resonate in the same way that it has previously. So I think kind of using all of the tools at your disposal, whether it's, ChatGPT or it's Microsoft Copilot, any really tools that you're using, if you're feeding them information, I think from my perspective, because this is where I live, is making sure that your content is resonating in that way based on previous success. So that's how I would say, because as far as trends go, that data driven personalization and that focus on the customer is going to be paramount. So any type of way, and I think Viacry and you guys can speak more to specific tools and helping you kind of produce more and optimize this process in particular. But it's really identifying the customer needs, right? Packaging that and delivering hyper focused messaging, hopefully with stats to support it. But I think that's the key.
Absolutely. Monica, do you want to take a shot at that?
No, I completely agree. We're, one of the things that we do is we create databases that are customized per client. And what you just say, the more you feed, the better it's gonna get. So I used to tell Zab, like, I believe like we as women are the best people to actually use AI, because we actually over communicate. We actually explain everything. We don't cut corners. We really want you to know the whole picture. And I think that's exactly how you need to use AI. Like you have to give them everything, one point by point, really understanding, fit them the data, fit them the stats, fit them the what the clients like, fit them everything that you want. And then after that, it's gonna create those pieces that you were just talking about, like the pieces that are actually targeted to what they want to hear, what they need to hear, because sometimes what we want to hear is not always what we need to hear. So but what
Yeah.
they need to hear and how to really kind of connect with them. So I that's what I think is like so important, to what the magic is to have the human factor, the critical thinking with the power of the efficiency of AI. And that's where the magic happens. I mean, that's what I see every day. What do you think about that, Diane?
Yeah, I mean, you reminded me of a quote that I've heard, is that your brand is not what you say about yourself, it's what others say about you. So similarly, what you think about your customer is not what you say about them, it's what others, say and what they think. And so I think that applies for sure.
I love that. And Joshua, let me answer you something. I've been dealing with data for a very long time. 10 years ago, very few companies knew what to do with data, and big data was this key word that nobody really knew what to do. Today, you can use that data. Okay, so AI will allow you to measure certain activities, and by that, really understand what those activities do to push your revenue forward. So the more you put into it, for instance, we did an experiment with this company, and we put all the data of salespeople into this database and enhanced it and learned it. And then we gave those salespeople how much money per hour they make by spending time with those clients. And the results were shocking. Sometimes they had clients they just really like to sit in meetings with, but those clients, like, it was $100 an hour they were making. And then there were clients that they were barely putting any time, but those were 100 grand per hour revenue of the time you put in with those clients. So AI can help you take all that data and make sense with it. What from your actions actually makes sense? Okay, AI can also take all the small things that you don't want to do as a salesperson or as a marketer and just make sure that it's done in the best way, and then you can deal with all the results that come out of it. So we live in an age right now that processing data is inexpensive, fast, and very accurate if you know what you're doing. So this can lead to such immense, amazing growth in marketing. Diane, Monica, I think about how I lived my life without AI. I don't know. Like, I truly don't know. What did I do? Monica, we just answered a monster RFP. We would never been able to do it without AI. Now, was AI the whole thing? Of course not. But we would never do it. So how do you guys feel about like how this changed how we do, how effective we are, and how many things we can do? Monica, do you mind?
I'm super excited. I see AI as abundance. I see AI as something that is gonna bring you more, and I'm not afraid about it. I mean, like I am. There is so many things happening, and sometimes it can get overwhelming, just like data. But when you see where to look and when you really understand it, and then you start just like playing with it, just little by little, piece by piece, and like you were saying, like what's the future, what is a trend, it's like really being very specific. I think AI give us that power, to be more specific with what we know. So yeah, I'm super excited about that.
Diane, what do you think? How did AI change how you do your work, how your team does their work?
Yeah, I mean, I think what was great is that I would never had a blank page ever again. I was always able to have ideas to start with. And, as far as like answering, very mundane questions that, you think, okay, I know this answer, but it's really hard to think of it, or I'm having, writer's block or something. It's really important. And I won't take credit for this because I did hear it at that chat that we were at, the conference that we spoke at, Zev. But one woman had said, and I 100% agree with this, and we'll take this and run with it. But she had said this is really, really important to just even creating new content, because she would say, I would do an interview with a spokesperson, and I would write down everything that they said, and I would feed it into the AI, and I would ask for them to give me an organized, write up of this conversation. And she would continue to perfect it. And obviously, this is going to take some human, adjusting and to make it sound smart and really appropriate for audiences or specific, goals that she was trying to set. But it was brilliant, right? Like, this is, part of the bread and butter, and all of that time that it takes to organize thoughts or putting it into a perfect, in a perfect format. It really just fast tracks that process considerably, and content is just turned on its head with the output that you're able to produce with that kind of strategy.
So let me put that on steroids for you. So audience, anybody that uses any note taker, AI note
Yeah.
taker, whatever it is, we're not going to go into brands. Everybody's got one now. What you should do is every meeting you have, okay, basically have an automation of taking the transcript of the meeting and taking that straight to ChatGPT, giving GPT instructions on how you like your summaries to happen, and immediately after that meeting, send it to GPT and send it back to you with all the steps. So every meeting you have, if there's an AI note taker, create an automation to take that immediately to ChatGPT and send it to you with a summary. I used to have my assistants listen to my orders all the time. There is no need for that anymore, because you can basically set up a process of, I have a meeting, recording goes to GPT, that goes to a summary to my team, and I review it before it's sent to all my team, but it's all made automatically. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is something that saved me a lot of time. Diane, Monica, what other things that you do today with the technology of AI help you shorten processes and help you do more with your teams? Let's start with Monica. Sorry, Diane.
No problem.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback on what you just say. Actually, this is gonna, like creating the order or whatever. We use order, we use a couple of others, but having that is also helpful when you are creating, let's say, proposals, when you're creating presentations, because sometimes when we are in meetings, you hear a part of it. Like I think you get about 30-40% depending of like the conversation, but when you go backtrack and when you ask the AI, like, what was important for the client? What are the main points? What are the things that I need to keep in mind? I'm going to do A, B, and C. It really helps you to get that information that sometimes at the very beginning, it didn't come. So it helps us personalize our strategy so much more. So, and I think that's a great important point, because, you know, there is the human factor of what we can remember and what we can retain. And then there is another one that is like, hey, this is everything that happened. This is how we analyze it. And if you give them the right criteria of what you're looking for of analyzing, it really gives you those points. And then you take that and you implement a strategy, you implement a proposal, you implement a marketing plan, like really understanding what are the challenges, the goals, and like the results, and then start feeding it. And it's never good the first time, so that's one thing. It's never good the first time. Don't never ever ever take the first output that comes. Massage it, give it more information, question it, like ask questions like what. Sometimes I am talking like, how do you come up with this? Where did this came from, right? And then you
Yeah.
kind of understand it. Like I act with it like if I'm acting with my teams. Like that's how I see it, like the AI. But Diane, I would love your intake on it.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really have said it any better myself. The understanding the source of the information also helps you derive more answers, right? And then I've heard this from another live that you guys have done, but even just to cross check specific AIs with other tools, right? Ask other AI tools the same question and see what different results you get, and try to get the best of both worlds, kind of thing, as your output. So yeah, I mean, I think these are all really, really good tips. I know I've always struggled with how to identify the correct prompts, right? And then even asking the AI tool what is the best prompt in order to get the right answer is also a good way to use the tools. But yeah, this is just kind of my, from personal, exploration. I think I haven't even scratched the surface of its sheer impact. But this is just for marketing. I can't even imagine what we could be doing for other business initiatives.
So let's move a little bit from the AI to you, Diane. You've been growing in this field. How can you give some tips to the people that are watching that are trying to grow, whether it is in fintech or in marketing or in the career in general? What do you recommend for them to do in order to really take the step forward in their careers?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm speaking to junior people, but not necessarily. I think people can be looking at this in at any point in their career if they want to make a change or otherwise. But really, you need to know yourself and understand your skill sets. I believe, I read a quote somewhere that said, most people spend their lives trying to be mediocre at many different things, but you should dedicate your time to be the best at what you're good at. And I truly believe that, especially for your job that you're going to the majority of your time and that you live, right? Like, you want to enjoy it and you want to be good at it. But piggybacking off of just taking those skills and applying them, if you are not sure of your career path, definitely just take a self-assessment test, take a Myers-Briggs type indicator, take a RIASEC test, to help identify careers that align with your interests. But really, even so, like, even if you know where you're going or what have you, you don't really understand the profession unless you talk to a professional themselves, right? And I wouldn't even, limit this by any means, right? Whomever, you're interested in, whoever is somebody that impresses you, reach out to them, try to have a coffee with them, because you won't get any like more specific and more helpful insights than just having a conversation about what they do on a day to day, which can really help crystallize where you want to be. Because what you're seeing on TV, what you're seeing in textbooks, what you're seeing, online is really, it's a facade, and most people are not going to share their true feelings with the public. So it's really good to have those conversations and leveraging your network. And that is just the long and short of it. Like, work your network. Don't just kind of have it there and follow people, right? Like, try to reach out to people. And I think that has helped me tremendously. I was blessed to have a really giving older brother who had put me in touch with some of his contacts and helped me with my career. But, for those who don't have those resources, like, do it yourself. There's people, you'd be surprised how open people are to connecting. So
I love that. Ask and you shall
yeah,
receive. And that's why you and
yeah,
I are connected. We impressed each other. At least you impressed me, but we
yeah,
impressed each other. And now we're
likewise.
friends,
Yeah,
and we help each other. So Love that. Now, because I'm so AI driven, I have to say a little something. Something we've had a lot of fun with, Diane, and Monica can attest to that. Every time we hire somebody, we do those personality tests. And we don't do
Yeah.
it because we want to hire a certain personality or not. Then we take that personality and we compare it to the personalities of the team that their future role is in. So let's say you have personality X, okay? Then we actually ask the AI, okay, so Monica is the head of that department and her personality is this. The two vice VPs are this personality and the team is this. What would be the best way to bring that person in for them to feel great and also do
Yeah.
great? And it's amazing. Like I am
Yeah.
a very distinct personality, and we've learned that for my immediate kind of team chief of staff assistant, they need to be one of certain personalities for us to work well together.
Yeah.
Something
It's
that
important.
took us a while to do. So what I recommend to people, do these assessments and then ask the AI, like, what can I do to do more of what I'm good at, or how can I improve? How can I showcase what I'm doing? So love that. By the
Yeah,
way,
and not to interrupt, but those tests really help align you with your interests. So it's not just like taking them and saying, okay, well, what do I do now? But they really match you up and they really kind of help guide you. So I really love that. So yeah.
I truly, truly enjoy that. Monica, what are you thinking about what Diane just said?
Oh, 100. I mean, it helps you understand yourself, and that's where everything is. Where everything comes in. So, I we do this a lot, and when we take it and we are gonna start with, it helps me because I'm all about team and all about communication. But I also understand that not everyone speak my language. Well, let's start that my language is Spanish, so my accent also helps that some people don't understand what I'm saying. But then on that as well, I am very straightforward. I a little less than Seth, but I'm very straightforward with what I want to say. And my team sometimes they're not, and it helps you to really have that patience and that way of communication. Like, okay, what is important to them, and what is how can I help them be the best at what they're doing, because at the end of the day I really want to work with people that want to work with us, and I believe that everyone that is happy on their job, they will do the best for our clients. And I'm a champion about my clients. Like I feel like when a client trusts us with something, it's like they're trusting us with their careers, they're trusting us with their business, they're trusting us with their babies, right? Like it really depends on what
Yeah.
level we're working about, but they're trusting us to do the best. And for that, I need to work with my team to also do their best. And those assessments help me understand about them, but also helps them understand about how to communicate. And some things, I don't know, like I found that when I do them, and every time there's always different ones, but every time I hear them, I'm like, huh, yeah, I didn't think about that. I mean, I know I am that way, but I didn't think it that way. So how can I make it better? So yeah, I totally agree. So a little bit of old school with some AI, it just really helps.
So
But
guys,
Diana, let me ask you a question. I love your career, and I love everything that you talk about, and I think you have done amazing. So I want to talk. I want to hear from you. Like, what are you excited about? What is you excited about the future? Like, what's coming?
Yeah, I'm gonna take this to Axoni just because that's what I'm thinking about and it's what's top of mind. But I think, and this really just applies everywhere. I think, more and more companies are investing into data. And, with all that we're saying with the aggressive proliferation of LLMs and Gen AI, I mean, I think, and even, for financial services, you would be surprised. Banks are spending over $20 billion in AI initiatives. And this was in 2023 alone. So there's obviously people are paying attention to this. And for us, we have a real growth opportunity on our hands because more and more companies are paying attention to investing in their data quality, which is kind of what, we're helping them with. I think, data needs to be in a really good state before launching these sort of multi-million-dollar initiatives. And like we said all along, the tool is only as good as what you feed it. I think, more and more companies are going to be, partnering with us, to have that clean and comprehensive data set. So that's really super exciting for us. And they're going to be wanting to leverage their resources on, more the auditing and the analytics instead of kind of, working on data breaks, right? This is just not something that they should be looking at. And, this is an industry agnostic problem. This is not just capital markets, right? Everybody is going to be looking at data quality. And then as well, data privacy, right? I think I would, I'm really excited at this, even though it's terrible that this has been happening. But with a lot of these data breaches, it's going to be really important for companies to feel secure in who they're partnering with, what their third party vendors look like. And that's what's nice about us, because we do not sit in between your data. We do not have access to it. So these are things that I think are definitely growth engines for us as far as trends go. But yeah, there's just sky's the limit on what you're able to do with data, and that in and of itself is really exciting.
I think the world is going to such an exciting way now. It depends on how you look at it, because when I speak to some people like you, we're very excited about what's coming on. When I speak to some other people, they're like, oh, let's wait and see. I truly believe now is the time to move forward with all these new things that we have. Now, Diane, you've shared a lot of things. Let me try to kind of encapsulate some of them, and then I want you to share a little bit about how can people reach out to you, and how can you help people, and a way for them to basically get in touch with you. So you've given us some great tips today about a lot of things. So you shared a little bit about your career and how to move forward. You shared about the network, which I think is super powerful. You shared about AI. You shared about fintech, all things that are kind of moving in the direction that AI and technology is moving. But if you need to share with people what you're about, how to connect you, and how can you help them moving forward, how can you share with our community, how Diane and Axoni can help them move forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you ever had a data challenge where you're getting massive volumes of data and you need it to get to another destination, certainly reach out to us. We would be happy to work with you. Our installation is super easy, very secure. We're SOC 2 certified. So from that perspective, definitely head to axoni.com. You can certainly reach out to me through LinkedIn. My name's Diane Levitch. So you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to chat and connect regardless of your challenge. I'm also happy to connect you with others that I know can help, so that, doubling down on the network effect. But yeah, I'm really just open to even hearing about your marketing challenges and to share insights with you. So,
and what is your target market? Which companies should reach out to Axoni?
Certainly. So I guess, the primary market is really anyone in capital markets, for the most part, those in post-trade. So I would say exchanges, banks, central clearing houses, financial market infrastructures of any kind, asset managers. Those are our core sweet spot. But like I said, I think beyond capital markets, there's huge potential for other industries to use our tech, like in supply chain or other areas. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you, Monica. How can people reach out to you, and how can you help them?
Through LinkedIn. You can reach out to me. How can I help with? I would love to put the quantum leap, because I think that's what we are right now. If you are, struggling how to implement AI, and you want to learn a little bit more about it and how to be more practical and not to have a full 3 months course about like the history of AI, but really how to implement it on your operations every day, then reach out to us. That's what we are doing right now. And of course, with Wexler Marketing and Cry, we just really want to help you, like, brand yourself, your awareness, get your marketing on point. And with Cry, it's all about the AI integration.
Thank you. So guys, please reach out to Diane, reach out to Monica. Diane, you were amazing. There was so many questions we could not get the time to answer. We'd love to have you here again. Everybody, reach out to Dan and Axoni, reach out to Monica. Training on AI is important. Data is crucial. And thank you so much for tuning in with us. Diane, Monica, you guys are amazing. Association is key. I'm proud of my association with you guys.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Diane.
Zev. Thank you,
It's a pleasure.
Monica.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate